put your hands together for Nanciann Horvath.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. So, before I do anything, we're going to do a group participation. Everybody clap twice. Woo! You just passed your first group physical. I deem you healthy. And I can do that because I'm a nurse. And with the way healthcare is changing, that's going to be your physical. And we'll do the touchy-feely part in the back later. So you are healthy. So I am a real nurse, and I have 2 boys, and my boys go, Mom, I think you're not really a nurse, and you know, you may take hallucinogenics, but I told them I'm really not that organic, a little, but, so years ago, when I was a real nurse, I worked at a teaching hospital, big one with 4 letters, and I was actually in the cardiac room, the cardiac floor, and I got to be friends with this kind of crazy guy. I wonder how that happened, and I came in one day, and he goes, I want KY jelly on my bread, and I'm like, Mr. Smith, we just don't do that. And he was like, yes, I really do. And he was really emphatic. So I opened up the new one, spread it on his bread, and he's like, this is terrible. This is terrible. Is it used? Like, no, I would never put used KY jelly on your bread. So remember that if you do that, make sure it's not used. And so the same guy, the one day I'm giving him a bath and we're chatting, and he goes, oh, I think I'm supposed to tell you I have AIDS. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, don't worry about it, honey, I can take him out. He does one of these things. Okay. So that guy is still alive, his heart is still good shape, and we're still good friends. So I believe in enjoying every moment, because I say, I want to live to be 100. Getting there pretty darn close. Chris was talking about his age, and I don't say the word OLD, I just say I have a freaking high number, and I don't care, because we all have friends and relatives that lost their number. So I like having a high number. But anyway, talking about my friend in the hospital, so I love same-sex. I mean, everybody is for same-sex these days. And the good thing about same-sex is, like, when you've been married a long time, I've been married 37 years, it's pretty much same-sex, same-sex, same-sex. But one fun thing about same-sex is you get to go on vacations with your same-sex friends. So, like, in a couple months, I'm going to Hawaii with the girls, and my husband goes to football games with the guys. And so this happened recently to a friend of ours. He married a Vietnamese woman, and they live in Florida. And she wanted to go over and see her family and talk the language and all that. And he was like, honey, I've been there, done that, have the uniform, don't want to go. So she went by herself, and he was home for a month. I mean, that's fine, and golfing, whatever. And the neighbor guy comes over, knocks on his doors, and he goes, Bill, just wondering how you're doing. He goes, fine, I could cook, I still get to golf. And the neighbor guy goes, well, I'm wondering, like, how you doing with the sex part? And he goes, look, mister, he goes, it's a small load these days. I do it by hand. So the other thing is, I'm from Pennsylvania, and if I talk too fast, you put your hands up like this, and that means pause. And we'll all pause and take a drink and slow down. Sometimes I do kind of talk a little fast. But I do have a son in vet school, so I may pause, or I may just do one of these things. So, because again, life should be fun every day. So my theory is the good kids have to go somewhere, so they might as well go to a loony mom. Now, I don't know how this happened, but both of our sons are really good, and the one's in vet school in Grenada, and recently, him and my husband went to get that GOES pass, you know, so you could go real fast when you go through TSA. I didn't want to pay $100, no thank you, I just run real fast. So they had to go down by Calexico, and they're coming back, and my son's like, Dad, look at that truck. And there was, you've seen them, tiny trucks, and they build all this stuff out, and my husband's like, that is so odd. But then Chris, who's 28, he says, you know, Dad, anytime you see a big rack on a small frame, that's a good thing. Remember that. So you gotta learn from the kids sometime. So another thing about Chris, he's a little OCD, but I recently read where OCD people make really good medical people and doctors because they pay attention to detail. So we have a dachshund, we did up until a month ago, so that's why I have a little dachshund necklace. He just passed away. Cosmo was 15 and a half. But Chris sent me out to get dog food, and I was like, okay, I have to get the right kind. So I took a picture of it, and I went to the store, and I said, I need this kind of food. And they're like, yeah, it looks like that. I said, no, no, no. See, yours has a white dog on. The one that my son said has this little, cute little black dog. And the guy's like, it's the same thing. And I'm like, we need to call the manager over here. This is serious stuff. What happened to this dog, and is he getting residuals because we switched the picture? I mean, come on. So we had a store meeting there, I called it, and we decided that it probably was the same food, but it really kind of made me feel bad. I mean, what about the first dog? He should still be getting residuals, right? So anyway. So our second son, he speaks Mandarin. Now, we're not Chinese. We grew up in Pennsylvania. And he was this little 8th grader and said, I'm going to learn Mandarin in high school. We're like, you go for it. We like that cuisine. And we're very worldly. Like, no, it's a language. So we're like, whatever. I didn't think he'd stick with it. He started in high school and college. And then he studied abroad. He went to Beijing. So that's where I wear my 2 bracelets, Beijing in China. And he came home. It was Christmas time. Now, I have a lot of fun Chinese friends. So before I do this, don't get your all panties in a wad and all that. So he came home, and I wanted to bond with him under the tree. And I said, Cameron, did you learn any of those Chinese Christmas songs? You know, like, ching-ching-a-ling, ching-ching-a-ling. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing all the verses. I was doing this at downtown Chinatown, but this is Koreatown, so it should be okay. And they threw me out, and I'm like, oh, okay. But Cameron was really, he goes, Mom, that's so rude, you can't do that. And then I did have to tell the boys that everything under that tree probably came from China, yeah? But not the boys. Well, actually, the boys did. See, they came from medical info here. The boys came from the vagina. See, so that's right, you're going to learn shit and you won't even know. It'll just float into your heads. So we talked about travel, and we talked, so when you're traveling, I have to remind you, when you're running through the airport, you know TSA people, all that stands for is thousands standing around, and you've seen them, they're out there. And the other thing I have to warn you is ISIS. They don't like being called icicles. It makes them feel soft and mushy and melty. So if you happen to run into anyone, don't call them icicles. They just don't like that. And, you know, just run real fast through TSA. That's what I do, because I did not want to pay that $100. Let me tell you, no way. So have anybody done any travel lately? You like traveling? Yeah? Yeah, but you got to remember, you got to bring now your own oxygen. So I carry an extra backpack because they charge you for everything. I started carrying these Tupperware boobs, and sometimes I actually was doing an act where I would pull out lettuce and tomato, and then the guy on the plane said to me, he goes, wait a minute, you said you're from Pennsylvania. I bet you have another one down below. I'm like, oh, you're talking sauerkraut. But I wouldn't travel with that, it's kind of stinky. But on a medical note, sauerkraut, kimchi, and pickles are very good for your brain. So anytime you have fermented food, it keeps you young and keeps your brain active. So next time you're flying, leave the Valium at home and all those crazy pills, and just bring some kimchi and sauerkraut for everybody and pass it out. Who cares if it stinks? I mean, what the hell? That's my theory, right? Okay, so I gotta take a pause here. So we talked about the medical note. I have to tell you about these news people. It's kind of bugging me the way when something happens, they talk staccato. We have a fire, and it's coming down the hill, and everybody better walk down, and we have a whale, and it just came up on the beach. Well, that's where whales come. They're not going to come on your bathroom floor. So I decided, in real life, I'm going to do this through a drive-thru. And I pulled in, and I said, I would like 2 fish tacos, and the fish must be dead. They must absolutely be dead, and you must hold tartar sauce. So I pulled up, and the young kid just gave it to me. So either he thought I was loony, or he thought I was a real news person. I'm like, cool, free food. I'm like, I know, I'll try this out like TJ Maxx. I went in, I said to the woman, I would like a purse, I would like it to look like leather, but no animals must be harmed. And I would like it to be, about the color of yours. And again, she just gave it to me and said, leave. So I go out to my car, and I'm looking, there's keys, wallet, lipstick. Good thing I like the color, right? Free. Try it, it's fun, free food, free stuff, free purse. So anyway, I just have to ask, are there any newlyweds or newly dating people here? I saw some people maybe in the back. This is a medical secret, and I only give this out to special people. And then you could pass this on to your friends. A lot of people don't know this about babies, but once the babies come out, they don't go back up. And they last a long time. And we know people that treat their 20, 30, 40-year-olds like babies. So pass that on to your friends, because every now and then I'll be doing a show and someone will go, you know, I really didn't know they were going to last that long. So they do last a long time, because once they come out, you can't squeeze them back up, no? So I just want to leave you with, this is for all my Asian friends. I did learn this from Cameron. Zaijian, that does mean goodbye, a mandarin. Have fun, enjoy your moments, talk to everybody, be a little nutso, and you'll live to be 100.